Everyone, come on in and take your seats. Welcome this morning to Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. I'm happy to see you and actually see so many faces in full now that the regular mask mandate has ended in California. Welcome to those of you at home. Some of you may be masked still or not. And some of our folks are masked by choice, which is great. You also need to be masked, of course, if you're not vaccinated. That's fine. We're not going to question anybody about that. But welcome all of you. We're just thrilled that you're here this morning. I'm Reverend Mary Murray Shelton. I am the community spiritual leader here at Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. And we just want you to remember, every one of you, however long you've been coming, or if you're here for the first time, if you're watching for the first time, whoever you are, wherever you may be on your journey of faith, you're welcome here. And we're delighted to have you with us this morning. Oh, Tom, haven't seen you in ages. Welcome back. How are you doing? So I want to invite you in just a moment to stand and join me in the opening song. But I want to let you know our special musician this morning is one who has been with us before, back when we were online all the time, Nathan Aswell up in British Columbia. And Nathan is a performing songwriter, inspirational speaker, and soon-to-be author. The beautiful instrument he plays is called a Chapman stick. I've never seen anyone else play one of these. It's developed so that it can be played with two hands. It can be tapped, plucked, strummed. It's quite an amazing instrument, so you'll enjoy watching that. Music and community have always been two of Nathan's most important aspects of his own personal life's journey. He's committed to living a life of loving service. And I know, Nathan, I know this is true. In 2019, for his birthday, Nathan hiked 800 kilometers in 33 days from Saint-Jean in France to Santiago in Spain on the Camino de Santiago, completing the journey by getting a scallop shell tattoo that many pilgrims who complete the walk do go and get. The scallop shell is the symbol of that journey. And you will hopefully remember Nathan from when he played for us while we were still online. Nathan's credo is small steps, big life. He says, it's only by taking small steps that we each become our fullest expression. So Nathan's going to lead us through the opening song, and midway through, I'll invite you to greet one another, then bring you back, and we'll sing, one more verse in the chorus after, and then we'll get quiet. All right? So let's go ahead now together and welcome Nathan Aswell.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Mary, for that wonderful introduction. Wow, that's the first time anyone's ever mentioned my tattoo. That's great. I'd like to start this morning with a song of mine that I co-wrote with my good friends Sue Riley and Glenn Rathel. This is called It's Up to Me. And the words to the chorus are very simple. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. So I'll sing that a few times so that you can get comfortable with it. Here we go. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. One more time. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. If I seek the truth, let me speak the truth. If I'm lost in doubt, let me believe. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. One more time. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. Okay, I think it's time to meet and greet.
come on back. Come take your seats. Come on back. We're going to start singing again. Come on back down. Come join us. Here we go.
If I dream of peace, let me live in peace. When I start from love, I am love. I know I can be the change I want to see. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, if it's to be, if it's to be, it's up to me. It's up to me. It's up to me. It's up to me.
Woo! All right, thank you. Let's give them a big hand and give yourselves a big hand. This is great. Please be seated and go ahead and silence your cell phone now. Just put it on mute so that, you may jump out of your seat if it vibrates, but the rest of us won't. So go at home, you can leave them on if you really want to. But here, we're going to silence our cell phones. I'm going to invite you just to settle in for the centering song and the opening prayer by our prayer practitioner, Lori Greer.
I imagine peace for all of us, and it all begins with me. I imagine peace for all. And it all begins with me. I imagine peace for all of us. And it all begins with me. Shanti, 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 Om 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 Shanti, Shanti, Shanti,
One infinite, boundless life. One powerful, unfettered cause of all creation. Back of everything that I see, touch, feel, and know is this one infinite God. Boundless, forever giving, pouring itself forth into its creation. I know that I am a part of that. I am one with that which created me. And so I have within me all of its inspiration, its joy, its abundance, the limitless, boundless freedom of that infinite source, that infinite givingness of God is mine. And what I know for myself, I know for each person here, for each and every being, that one infinite, boundless life is ever available, ever within reach, always calling forth more and more good for its creation, always bringing forth more. And so I know that as I align in consciousness with this truth, more is revealed in my life. Opportunities present themselves, doors open wide. More and more good is available to me in the form of abundance, beauty, connection, love. All of the good that God gives, more and more is available, no matter what my situation or circumstances appear to be. And so knowing this truth for myself and knowing it for each one, I call forth that inspiration, that nudge forward into alignment with the truth of being, that there is more good available than we can even imagine. And so I know that this day already is blessed with that opening, that opportunity, that infinite flow of good that wants to be revealed in each life. And so this day too, with this service, this community, more and more of the good is revealed through the connections made here, through this service today, through the words that are spoken, the perfect message being received as we open our ears to hear, our eyes to see the spiritual truth today. And so I give thanks for knowing that this already is happening, and it already is complete in the mind of God, because what is known in consciousness is demonstrated. It is made manifest, and it is true for each person at the level of consciousness. So I give thanks, and I release my word now into the power of the law that takes it, demonstrates, and makes it so. And so it is.
I imagine peace for all of us, and it all begins with me. Om Shanti 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 Om Shanti 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 Om.
Lovely.
Stop, take a break, let all the rest wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly in to your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. Like a seedling in the springtime, ripe and ready on its tree. Disconnect from all your worries and be free. like a gently flowing river that surrenders to the sea. Empty out your expectations and just be. And breathe, contemplate whatever can wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly in to your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. Everything has its own season. Everything has its own place. Everything has its own purpose, its own grace. Like a happy smiling baby playing with her favorite toy, we are here to know and savor complete joy. So stop, take a break, let all the rest wait. Allow here and now to unfold. Let wisdom come quietly in to your heart. Be still and find peace in your soul. So stop and be still. Stop, be still. Stop.
Thank you, Nathan. I could feel myself just slowing down and getting calmer and quieter, couldn't you? Doing that? So lovely, so helpful. These, let's acknowledge Nathan. Oh, he's gone now. Acknowledge Nathan one more time. Yes, all right. And so now we move on to our celebration of this year, Living from the Heart of Wonder. And this month, the theme is spiritual substances everywhere. So, when we're looking to make transformations in our experience or in our lives, the raw materials for that are everywhere, but most especially within us. So today, I am talking about that spiritual substance not only being everywhere here, but also the spiritual substance that is within us, and talking about using that spiritual substance that we actually are made out of, the spiritual substance that we are, like everything else. I've sometimes said that Deepak Chopra says that if we could look at the entire universe as it truly is, without all of the filters that our senses give us, to dampen things down or put them in a visual range or whatever, if we could see it the way it truly is, it would just look like quantum soup. We wouldn't see all this separation in individuals and all of that. What we'd see is just the energy of the universe moving and flowing and being beautiful and having a great time. But that's really us and everything that's in the universe. When we're trying to use that spiritual substance that we are, sometimes the challenge is we recognize also our apparent limitations. You ever you're in the middle of a conversation and you're trying to remember the name of a person, place, or thing that is not available in that moment in your brain? Anybody ever have that experience? Yes? Yeah, we've all had it. No matter what age you are, you've had that experience. And I've learned over the years that the best thing for me to do is just relax and let go and get on with what I'm doing, and it will show up. So now I've begun to say, oh well, if it's important, it'll come back. If not, who cares? And then within a very short time, I could be in conversation with other people, and I would suddenly say, Nathan Lane. And, somebody who wasn't there earlier might be thinking, what? But, that's it. It doesn't necessarily deliver at a convenient moment, but it does deliver. All that time, our subconscious mind has been on search mode for that piece of information while we went about our business doing other things. We actually interfere with it when we spend a lot of time efforting with the intellect, because the intellect can't quite get there because that's not where it's stored. So we have to let the subconscious do its work. Sometimes, though, you need to retrieve something faster, and this story reminds me of that. This man was walking into town, and he saw a body lying on the sidewalk in the middle of the block, and shocked and panicked, he pulled out his phone and dialed 911. And the operator asked the man where the body was located. And he said, it's right here on Sycamore Drive, ma'am. She said, how do you spell that, sir? S-I-C-K. No, that's not right. S-I-C-A. Nope, that's not it either. S-I-K-A. Oh, heck, let me drag him over to Lake Street and I'll call you back. So you can't quite get it in the moment. You know what that's like? Think, oh, geez, I know it's in there somewhere, but I can't quite get a hold of it. So this was his experience on that particular morning. When we're looking at the substance that we are, we don't, well, what I'll say is this. As we look at it now, let's recognize that sometimes we don't realize what we're creating is emerging out of the substance that we are itself. So with this image, we have a little guy who's clearly about to experience the direct results of karma. He's put the energy out there and it's going to come right back to him, but he doesn't know it. He doesn't realize it. So he's using the capability, the power that's within him, but it's going to bring him a result that he hasn't imagined he's the source of. And this can be a bit of a challenge for us. So if spirit or intelligence or God or whatever we want to call it, that mystery, great spirit, if it really is omnipresent, then it means that all of it is present everywhere, including in us. So there cannot be a me that is separate from that omnipresent one. There can't be, Spirit and Mary. It's just spirit, and this part of it is manifesting as Mary. And I get to experience it as if Mary were a separate being altogether. And this is true for all of us. So if there is no separate one of us from this omnipresent presence, then its qualities are also all available in me. Maybe not at the level of God, because that might make me implode, but to some degree, to the degree that I can embody that, whatever that is in my subconscious and my beingness, that I can use if I have that awareness. And so it's only limited by my choices and my capacity. And that doesn't mean I'm always aware that it's my choices and my capacity that are setting the limit to what I'm experiencing, because it can very often look like it has nothing to do with me, If I grow up in a family where my parents are always fighting, I might, as a little kid, feel like that's my fault, even if the subject of the fight is never me. But as an adult, some part of me recognizes that that was about them, it wasn't about me. So those are two ways of looking at it. But there's a third way, which is, if I am there and I am experiencing this, there's some reason why it's me who's there and not some other kid. That I was born in this family to these parents who are doing this. There's a reason I'm here. Not that I did anything wrong and so I'm stuck with them as a punishment, but rather that this soul being that is larger than this appearance may have made a choice to enter into that family for my own soul's growth and experience. It's not my fault. I don't get credited for it. It's just my learning path. Seemed like a good choice for learning at the time, possibly. Does this make sense? So it doesn't appear to be something that's related to me causing it, and yet it's definitely related to me, otherwise I wouldn't be there. So I think back to one of my early metaphysical teachers who, he said when he first got into science of mind, back in the years that he was trying to overcome his alcoholism, when he first got into science of mind, and he learned that he had this creative power that was available to everybody, that was within him to shape his life. And he said, my first thought was, my God, isn't there somebody more competent than me that'd be responsible for this? But yes and no, because the creative law knows, who. No, it doesn't know who we are. The Spirit knows who we are. The creative law only knows the blueprint. So it operates on the blueprint. But Spirit will not interfere with what we set into motion because it trusts us completely. So you get this life if you want to make it what would appear to other human beings to be a total mess of it. It's okay. Spirit isn't worried about that at all. It's not a waste as far as the divine or the soul are concerned, because the spirit, the soul that we are, is still gathering wisdom and information out of that life that looked like a mess to somebody else. So I'm talking about substance, the basis, the essence of everything. It appears to be beyond form, and yet even form is that substance made manifest. The energy in the universe is immense, more so than everything in form, or even the tiniest little space of what's in form is this enormous, enormous energy in every centimeter of the universe. So it's always available to become more, or to, as Ernest Holmes says, abandon the form it's taken and become something else. And so that immense substance is what we're made of, and we have the opportunity then to use that in a particular way. And it's our consciousness that does that. So in the Abundance book, John Randolph Price gives us 10 meditations that really are about recognizing what the gift is in our own consciousness for creativity. And he says, God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. So for me, what I recognize with that is the idea that not only are we spiritual substance, but the spiritual substance that we are is greater than just our bodies, that it is unlimited, ever available to us, everywhere, all the time, and like God, we become what we love, what we put our attention on, what we dwell on. So that experience of discovering more of something in our lives encourages, uplifts, supports us when what we're becoming is encouraging, uplifting, inspirational. When what we're becoming actually is making us feel bad, then we're producing more of what makes us feel bad in the process. I've got an acquaintance who was in a very bad place in his life. He was doing lots of drugs, he was involved in petty crimes, and he felt awful about himself. And he had a lot of negative tattoos. And then he had what psychologists call a corrective emotional experience. He had a transformational spiritual experience that allowed him to let go of that idea of who he was and begin to reclaim the person that he started his life as, this innocent, dear, sweet, loving, optimistic soul. He got these tattoos rearranged, so they're much more positive now. And he's smiling and expressing love to people all the time. It's not that that person is somebody different than who he was before. It's that the negativity he was living in had completely overshadowed his essential nature, but it never went away. It was always there. So the resource that we need to change any experience of our life is right here within us all the time. It's also that subconscious and that infinite substance and that infinite possibility of that substance, which is us and which is where we are. When it goes to work, we can guess at what's going to happen as a result, or what we want it to show up as a result. But when we're engaging in that creative process, either through prayer or other spiritual practices, one of three things will happen as a manifestation to that prayer, if that's where our focus remains. One is we will change. We will change the way this fellow I know has changed. We will become different in the way that we interact in the world. Another possibility is the circumstance or situation that we're in may change around us. So, for example, for him, it may have been that everybody he was hanging around with moved away, got a job, went to jail, whatever, and he didn't have that bunch of people to hang around with anymore. It might have shifted his experience if that had happened. Excuse me. Or the third thing is, sometimes we get removed from the situation completely. So, I don't know, he gets transferred somewhere else, or, so that you are taken out of the situation completely. Now, in all of those scenarios, it has an effect on our experience, which then has an effect on how we express ourselves in the world. Are you with me here? Is this making sense? Yeah. So the resource we need for that change then is here, and it has to be our choice. It might not be a conscious choice, but it's still our choice to cooperate with that flow. Spirit will never countermand or counteract what we've chosen, no matter how bad the results of that might be for us or the people around us or the world. If we have that kind of agency, that the choice we make takes us forward on a certain path, and we'll stay on that path until we make a different choice. Now, if our soul really desires a different choice and we can't get there, then the universe will start offering us opportunities and possibilities. If we're alert to that, we can notice those. They may show up in a magazine or a movie or a song or a neighbor or somebody we have a random conversation with or over here in the elevator. And that idea, that moment, will stick with us. So it has to start inside of us. The actual choice that makes the difference, that has to come from us. So when the Pharisees wanted to trip up Jesus, it says in the Gospel of Luke, and incidentally, Luke never knew Jesus, he only knew St. Paul. But he gathered this story from various and sundry disciples and people who knew Jesus, apparently. So he didn't witness this, but St. Luke says, once, on being asked by the Pharisees when the kingdom of God would come, Jesus said, "The coming of the kingdom of God is not something that can be observed, nor will people say, 'Here it is,' or 'There it is,' because the kingdom of God is in your midst, or in some translations, within you." Both of those are true. The kingdom of God is within us, and it's in the midst of us. It's around us everywhere. We can't get out, actually, of it. So one of the other affirmations in the Abundance Book by John Randolph Price is, "I lift up my mind and heart to be aware, to understand and to know that the divine presence I am is the source and substance of all my good." The divine presence I am, or the divine presence I am, is the source and substance of my good. Not meaning little tiny Mary, separate human being. No. And not imagining that I am the creator of the universe. Neither of those two things. But somewhere in the middle is the recognition that that source, that substance of all that is where I am and does produce a result right here. It's not like I send a prayer out, somewhere it's received, and the response is sent back. And I hope it's the way I want it to be. It's not like that. The way that it is that as soon as the consciousness embraces the substance of that prayer, as soon as we fully, lovingly welcome the results of the prayer and invite ourselves to become even those results, it's there. We may not see it, experience it, feel it yet. We may still be growing into it, but its availability, its presence is there right now. There's no delay. God doesn't ponder and then say, "Yeah, you haven't been so hot lately. I don't think you deserve that." That doesn't happen. It's all up to creative law to manifest, and as we know, creative law doesn't care if you're good or not. However, there's a caveat to that. I'm not giving you license to go out and do whatever you want, because there is a natural beingness that the creative law is present in that divine God presence and intelligence, that anything that's created ultimately has to be in alignment with the essence of the one. And if it's not, eventually down the line, it's going to fall apart. And even more than fall apart, it's likely to come back and kick us in the butt. So when we have a negative intention, what we put out, that vibration goes with it, and we're holding it to some degree, we're embodying it to some degree. So it goes out, but it recognizes where it came from, and as things deteriorate, it comes right back and lands right where we are. We may see that happen in our lives or to other people. We may never see it, but that's how creative law works. So, how do we then shift from either being the recipient or the victim, or just thinking that we're a neutral bystander that has no choice about stuff? How do we shift from that to recognizing our own agency, our own power, our own responsibility for those choices? So you can see in this image, and I don't know if you can see it well from where you are, but in those swirls are actually words. So it says, let me pull this up so I can see it even better myself. Oops, oh, that didn't work. So it says, co-create with love. And then it says, God, expressions, align, and cosmos. Around this being who clearly is filled with power and creativity. Now, it's a little disconcerting to see all the blood vessels and all that stuff, but just ignore that. This being is all of us. In a human form, this being enters into the creative process intentionally. Now, we use that creative law unintentionally all the time, but there are moments when we can sit down, become centered, like Nathan's songs helped us do, and tap into this infinite, benevolent, good power that is within us and surrender into the highest good that we know. And from that place, knowing that we are one with the presence, to declare the peace, the harmony, the joy, the abundance, the well-being that we want to experience in our lives. So the first thing we need to do is remember that we have the ability to do that. Because you can't really employ it intentionally if you forget, which I do all the time. Hopefully I'm not the only one. So to remember, to know. And there are some things that get in the way of our knowing. Yes, I'll talk about that in a minute. But to practice what we know, then to actually do it. And sometimes that entails going to a practitioner. That can be our spiritual practice, going to a practitioner and receiving prayer and aligning ourselves with the substance of the prayer as we listen to it. And to celebrate the results of the prayer. So it's not just like, oh, wow, that's it, that's great, and then we forget all about it and go right on. No, take time to savor it. Take time to enjoy it. Take time to put it on, to welcome it, to be in the awe and wonder of its manifestation. And then to repeat that process. So we want to remember, know, practice, celebrate, and repeat. And then we're in the process of co-creating with love. That's the energy that we're bringing to what we're doing. So as we do that, I want to give you the information too about what stops us from doing that kind of practice. One thing that stops us is doubt. Now, it doesn't mean we can't have doubt. What it means is that we should not allow doubt to stop us. Everybody has doubt from time to time, just part of the human thing. But we can go ahead and know that we have experienced answered prayer. We have experienced manifestations, demonstrations in our lives. That means they're possible. So even if we have doubt and a certain level of disbelief or skepticism or even cynicism, we can set those aside and say, okay, you're here. Great, I see you. You're giving me all the warnings. Okay, fine, thanks for the info. And then let go of it as much as possible and go on. So doubt is one thing. We can coexist with it. You just set it aside, go, thanks for sharing, and shift your attention. The second thing is fear. We have fear of looking foolish. I mean, really, doesn't our country, at least in the Western world, I think in general, rely so much on logic, supposedly, that when anything that has to do with the power of this kind of creative thinking comes into the media, they kind of make fun of it. People who are dumb or superstitious or gullible have this kind of magical thinking. They believe this could work. Ernest Holmes says, don't believe people who've never tried it. They don't know what they're talking about. Just go right ahead and do what you're going to do. Don't argue with them. Don't worry about it. Let them believe what they want. You put it to the test yourself. You try it out. You figure it out and then decide for yourself what works for you. So we don't want to stop just because we're afraid we might look foolish. You don't have to tell people what you're doing if they're going to make fun of you. Or you can jump right into the making fun, say, yep, I can be gullible and foolish, but think about this. If this actually works, I'm going to be doing great. So I'm going to look like a fool and do it anyway. And if you want to laugh at me, hey, have at it. So we don't have to take ourselves too seriously either in the process. We have all those choices. But we don't want to get stopped by doubt or by fear. And the last one that I think of when I think about the things that get in the way of us actually living from the substance that we are and creating more of the life that we want, because we recognize, know, and accept to whatever degree we can, that the power, the ability to do that is where we are. The last one is an inability or an unwillingness to think beyond the conditions, to think beyond the current conditions that we're in. That is the most challenging moment when we're immersed in the condition that is worrying or upsetting to us. And in the midst of that condition, we choose actively, intentionally, to shift our intention to the good, to think beyond the condition we're experiencing to the spiritual possibility right here and to claim it, to not let the condition we're experiencing be more powerful than the possibilities and opportunities that we can tune into. So in the moment, we may feel unable to do that, or we may be unwilling to do it, and that can block us becoming what we want to become or experience. However, God is merciful. So the other possibility is that we remember just a little late, I could have shifted that for myself in the middle of that circumstance. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it now. Even though the circumstance is not surrounding me at the moment, I'm going to go ahead and shift my attention about it right now. So when we do that, we make an inroad into that becoming process. And the great thing about all of it is that the becoming process stays with us in our lives as long as we're breathing. So it does not matter if we've messed it up in every moment of our lives from birth on. If we decide today, that's not okay with me anymore, that's not how I want to live, that's not who I want to be, I'm going to choose something else. That moment that we make that choice, doors will open and things will start to find us. Particularly if we mean it from the bottom of our hearts, we begin to go forward in a greater way. So this little story is really thought-provoking. I'm going to wind up with this. It's really thought-provoking about not waiting until we're wiser, gooder, more conscious, to claim this substance that's within us. You don't need to be any more enlightened than you already are, any better a person, any more experienced, have taken more classes, none of that. So this little story is a thought-provoking reminder to us to begin now, if we haven't, or to continue or persist. My brother-in-law opened the bottom drawer of my sister's bureau and lifted out a tissue-wrapped package. "This is not a slip," he said. "This is lingerie." He discarded the tissue and handed me the slip. It was exquisite, silk, handmade, and trimmed with a cobweb of lace. The price tag with an astronomical figure on it was still attached. Jan bought this the first time we went to New York, at least 8 or 9 years ago. She never wore it. She was saving it for a special occasion. Well, I guess this is the occasion. He took the slip from me and put it on the bed with the other clothes we were taking to the funeral home for the mortician to use. His hands lingered on the soft material for a moment, and then he slammed the drawer and turned to me. "Don't ever save anything for a special occasion," he said. "Every day you're alive is a special occasion." I remembered those words through the funeral and the days that followed when I helped him and my niece attend to all the sad chores that follow an unexpected death. I thought about them on the plane returning to California from the Midwestern town where my sister's family lives. I thought about all the things she hadn't seen or heard or done. I thought about the things that she had done without realizing they were special. I'm still thinking about his words, and they've changed my life. I'm reading more and dusting less. I'm sitting on the deck and admiring the view without fussing about the weeds in my garden. I'm spending more time with family and friends and less time in committee meetings. Whenever possible, life should be a pattern of experience to savor, not endure. I'm trying to recognize these moments now and cherish them. I'm not saving anything. We use our good china and crystal for every special event, such as losing a pound, getting the sink unstopped, the first camellia blossom. I wear my good blazer to the market if I feel like it. My theory is, if I look prosperous, I can shell out a bundle for one small bag of groceries without wincing. I'm not saving my good perfume for special parties. Clerks in hardware stores and tellers in banks have noses that function as well as my party-going friends. Someday, and one of these days, are losing their grip on my vocabulary. If it's worth seeing or hearing or doing, I want to see and hear and do it now. I'm not sure what my sister would have done had she known she wouldn't be here for the tomorrow we all take for granted. I think she would have called family members and a few close friends. She might have called a few former friends to apologize and mend fences for past squabbles. I like to think she would have gone out for the Chinese dinner, her favorite food. I'm guessing. I'll never know. It's those little things left undone that would make me angry if I knew that my hours were limited. Angry because I put off seeing good friends whom I was going to get in touch with someday. Angry because I hadn't written certain letters that I intended to write one of these days. Angry and sorry that I didn't tell my husband and daughter how often and how much I truly love them. I'm trying very hard not to put off, hold back, or save anything that would add laughter and luster to our lives. And every moment, every morning, when I open my eyes, I tell myself that it is special. Every day, every minute, every breath is truly a gift from God. Whatever we've been putting off, whatever we've been putting off experiencing, hearing, seeing, doing, whomever we've been putting off until tomorrow to get in contact with, this is a reminder, an invitation to us not to wait, to bring more joy, more laughter, more love into our lives through those connections right now. And they begin to set that loving, abundant, creative law into motion because as we take those actions, we impact the world and we change ourselves. So think about something you've wanted to do. And I invite you to go home and put it on your calendar. Make a plan. Begin to make a plan for when you're going to do that. Begin to prepare for it now, even if it's not today that you can actually do it. Let yourself move into that greater joy. Don't wait. Namaste. And I'd like to, thank you. I'd like to invite you to stand up and join me in this affirmation now for this claiming. All right? So we say, and this is another John Randolph Price affirmation from the Abundance Book, by the way. Through my consciousness of spirit within as my source, I draw into my mind and feeling nature the substance of spirit. This substance is my supply. That means my awareness of the presence of God within me is the substance of my supply. Yeah, wow, that's a powerful one. All right, and while you're standing, let's just take a moment in prayer together. So I invite you to put your hands on your heart and breathe in the love that is the essence of all this substance around us. And breathe out the love that is the substance that we are, knowing that it's constantly flowing into us and through us, constantly, without a break ever. This love is the true essence of the universe. There is no escaping it. It is everywhere, permeating everything, communicating to me at every moment. It is the truth of who I am. It is the truth of who all of us are. So I speak this word for us online and in this room, and those who hear and watch the recording of this service later, that the love that we are, we call it forward now to take the lead in our choices, in our thinking, in our interpretations of experiences, allowing us to go ever more deeply into joy, into peace and harmony, into letting go, and into welcoming more wisdom, more love, more creative expression, more delight into our lives. In this very moment, we open our minds and hearts just a little bit more to receive and welcome just a little bit more of that, and to know that it flows forth from us abundantly to bless others as well. We're grateful to know this, to remember it, to practice it, to celebrate it, to do it often. And so with gratitude, we let this word go, accepting this good, we just let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes, you may be seated. So we did that. Now, as we move in to our sacred time of offering, I want to share something with you, which you may or may not have already seen in the program, the bulletin this morning, or in the little newsletter that went out to you earlier this week. You ushers can come forward now. They didn't have to wave at me to remind me today. That's good. Can't promise that in the future, but we got it today. When we looked at, now in January of most years, we have a number of people that give their pledges, and they give the whole thing for the year in January. So we're used to January being a more abundant month than some of the other months throughout the year. But this past January, I want you to know, we received $36,000 in donations and contributions. And additionally, we received $10,000 from a beloved member that was unexpected. So we received that in addition. Our expenses were just under $21,000. So January was amazing. Isn't that incredible? I mean, it's fabulous. So we want to take this moment then to celebrate that demonstration of that good coming to us, and what a blessing it is, and how grateful we are, because what that lets us do is begin to seriously consider some of the things that are beginning to arise in our vision for Golden Gate. You know, if all we're doing is keeping the bills paid, we're not actually present as a spiritual community, you know, in the world. We're just sustaining ourselves. It's like breathing and having meals. What we want to do is be a positive, energetic pulse in Marin County that uplifts the energy, that uplifts spirits, that welcomes more people into our teaching and allows them to find it and live it and discover it and be more joyful. So I just wanted to let you know all that because it's so exciting. And I'm kind of doing a happy dance. And so if you would like to donate this morning, we're thrilled to have you do that. You can text to donate at 415-779-7613. And then, you know, once you put in your amount, it'll just take it from there. And for all that we received in January and everything that we've received so far in February and everything that's being given in this room today, whether it's text or a check or cash, whatever it is, we want to appreciate it, celebrate it, and bless it. So we are together going to speak this offering blessing for all that we have given and for all that we are receiving. So join me right now. This gift I give is God in action. I now send it forth to bless and to prosper. I know that everywhere it goes, it is creating a world living in love, one heart and one thought at a time. And so it is. And so now we move into some more wonderful music by our dear Nathan Aswell up in British Columbia. I hope their weather is pretty good today. Some days it's, it's February, right? So we wish him sunshine no matter what's going on there. Let's go to Nathan right now.
I'm happy to say that the power of your prayer is alive and well, Reverend Mary. It is indeed sunny here today, so thank you for that.
Yay!
The next song I'd like to share is called The Making of a Soul. It's a song of mine, and the chorus is very simple. The making of a soul, the making of a soul. I'm busy with the making of a soul. So I hope as you get comfortable with the melody that you join in with me. It's kind of a gospel spiritual thing.
Yay!
The making of a soul, the making of a soul. I'm busy with the making of a soul. I've come as a magician and an ordinary man to make a contribution and be part of the plan. There is no destination, the journey is the goal. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Part of me's an artist, part of me's a fool. I have no map to guide me, there is no book of rules. The only thing that's certain is joy will lead me home. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Busy with the making of a soul. Sing with me. The making of a soul. The making of a soul. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Lurking in my shadow are things I must reclaim. I call them out into the light and give each one a name. 'Cause everyone's a mirror that helps to make me whole. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Whoa, 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 whoa. Busy with the making of a soul. Sing with me one more time. The making of a soul. The making of a soul. I'm busy with the making of a soul. I'm part of God unfolding. I trust and fully give. All that really matters is that while I live, my gift someone is needed. The universe is home. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Busy with the making of a soul. One more time. The making of a soul. The making of a soul. I'm busy with the making of a soul. Last time. The making of a soul. The making of a soul. I'm busy with the making, big finish here, of a soul.
Wonderful. Oh, wow. Wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. All right. So on behalf of all of us in this room, we do together welcome and accept with great gratitude this offering. And we bless it so that it goes out into the world to create healing and transformation everywhere that it goes, beginning in this room with us. And so it is. All right. Okay. So, if you happen to be with us for the first time today, I want you to know that back on this back table right here in the room, we have welcome packets. They say welcome right on them. And Amanda's waving one around back there. Inside, there's a blue card that says welcome right on it. And if you fill it out and take it back to that table, somebody back there will give you a little gift, one of these little books. That is free to you. It's our thank you for being here with us this morning, and we hope you'll be back often. We would love to welcome you as part of our spiritual family. That's a little book of affirmations that are applicable to all kinds of experiences in our lives that can help us to begin to regroup quickly when we need to. So we hope that you'll stop and pick that up and then come back and see us again and again. I also want to say thank you to everybody who was here this morning for the morning celebration and for setting up the celebration, for the Frost family, for the wonderful altar, for the prayers, yes, for the prayers, for the sound, for the live streaming, for the food, for everybody who was involved in any of those things. If you were involved in anything that had to do with getting this morning ready, Amanda for the lights, please stand up, and we're going to thank all of us at the same time. Everybody, everybody. If you brought food, whatever you did. Woo! Thank you, thank you. Yay. So glad you did that. All right. Now, next Sunday, Marilyn Letzos, one of our prayer practitioners, is going to be giving Quick Start, which is a free 2-hour workshop. It will be on Zoom. It's a great intro or review for us of basic principles of science of mind, and we can all use reviews from time to time. But if you're new, it's a great place to jump in and discover the basics about what we believe in 2 hours. And it's fun, and Marilyn's a total delight. So if you'd like to register for that so that you get the handouts in advance, and the link, of course, so you can find it, email administrator@ggcsl.org. That's Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. So administrator@ggcsl.org. And Sonia will take care of all that. Let her know you want to register for Quick Start. Also, we have coming up the first date that we're going to be participating again with the food bank, which is March 8th. And I think, can they still sign up for March 8th, Ellen, or is it too late?
No, we actually added 2 other times in March.
Oh, great.
But I think April is probably the next time it's available.
Okay, so the April date, April, May, June, those dates up there are the ones you can sign up for. You can talk to Ellen this morning if you'd like to do that to get signed up. Her email and phone number are up here so you can text or email her. Just let her know your basic contact info, name, phone, email, and what dates you want to participate in. So you can do one or all of them or anything in between. And similarly, as we are serving the community, we also want to replenish ourselves. So Deborah Irwin and Steve Einhaus are organizing hikes, spring hikes in Marin County. We generally have great weather in the spring, and the first one is beginning March 3rd at 10 a.m. The information is all up here on the slide. You can take a picture of it if you want to be sure and have it, for your reference. Just text or call one of them to let them know that you want to come to that hike. And it's about an hour-long hike, I guess. There is a little bit of a walk from the parking lot to where the trail begins, and then you're off on a reasonably level trail for about an hour. And we're continuing our climate action tips of the week, thanks to Ellen, Deborah Irwin, and Arthur Young. And this one has to do with if you're going to be freezing foods that you've picked up at the market, how to go about doing that without plastic. So at this website, which is the Zero Waste Chef, you can get all kinds of information about how to manage your life and your kitchen without using plastic. So it actually saves a lot of the planet when we stop using plastic. And so she's also got a book out called The Zero Waste Chef. So those are available. By the way, I do want to say before I move into the prayer part of the service this morning that if you liked Nathan's music, if you Google Nathan Aswell music, British Columbia, you'll get his website, you'll get all kinds of information about him. You can go to his website and find out about concerts he does online, how to get his music. how to contact him, all that sort of stuff. And you can listen to some of his stuff too. So I want to invite you to do that. I don't know when his book is coming out, but I'm sure info about that will be on his website as well. All right, so now, if you know that you need some support in order to shift into using the spiritual substance you are, I invite you to contact our practitioners this morning over here at the table and have one of them give you a prayer, because it's a service that is offered free for you on Sunday. They do individual sessions that are longer. If you book one of those with them, there's a fee. On Sunday, it's a brief prayer, but it's a gift. So would you bring me the prayer box too? And then would the practitioners, I got that right this morning, please surround the room. Whenever you see people in these lovely white stoles, they are licensed practitioners with Centers for Spiritual Living who are part of our congregation here. Thank you, Dana. And the prayer box is also available if you want to do both or you're short of time. You can put a prayer request into this box. Our practitioners on duty on Sunday will pray over this all week long. They will join you in prayer for you, so you can do both, one or the other. But I like to say that as soon as you release your prayer request into the box, spiritual law goes to work on it immediately. Even before the prayers have been spoken, because you know in God, there's no time or space. All right? So knowing that, we've already received this prayer I'm about to pray, but now we get to do it consciously, because God's already been distributing it to us. But so here we go. So let's turn within in this moment and take a grateful breath for our ability to breathe. In the divine presence, so much is given that we can take for granted. We're not charged for it, it's ours. Just like our awareness, our heartbeat, our breath. We are infused with the divine presence right here and right now. So we consciously and gratefully receive, accept, welcome, and allow in to our awareness and our experience and our expression that energy of divine love, that awareness of the substance that we are using to create good, not only for ourselves, but all those around us. And we allow that divine presence to move through us as that love into this week, right now. Before we even know what's going to happen this week, we send this love out to bless our path and everybody on it, knowing that when we get to Wednesday afternoon, this blessing is already there. Why? Because the presence of God and creative law are not limited by time or space. It's already there waiting for us. It's done. We are grateful to know this truth, to claim it, to be it, to accept it, to enter into it. And so with gratitude, we let it go. We let it be. And together we say, and so it is. Yes, yes, yes. All right. Christine, yes. For the Ukraine and... Oh, Barbara Leger's connections in Ukraine. Right, yes. Okay, we can do that. So if you're online, you may not know this. Our sister ministry is in Ukraine. And of course, there's a lot of conflict and fear happening around Ukraine right now. And so Reverend Dr. Barbara Leger works with them long distance from here. She used to go there often. We want to enfold them, and we invite you to join us in that right now. Knowing that the presence of God is everywhere, and no less in Ukraine than anywhere else in the most powerful ashram in the world, we enter into and invoke awareness and consciousness of that presence of God in Ukraine. We know it also in all of the Russian soldiers surrounding Ukraine, in the leaders of these nations, and in us. We join in consciousness now, knowing that whether they know it or not, that presence, whose harmony is the essential truth of everyone, is right there. This harmony is being established particularly all around the border. The fear, the aggression are calming, are being soothed. We see the spiritual truth of every one of these beings and allow in our hearts for their own greater knowing of the truth of who they are and freedom from limitations in belief that hold them back from knowing this presence of love that's right there. We lend to our brothers and sisters in Ukraine right now additional strength, faith, peace. We send out to all of the soldiers who have been called into duty around this border on both sides to be anchored in God, in love, in the presence, because this is who they truly are. Regardless of their orders, this is who they truly are. And this is the truth of all those who are providing orders. We know that we are one with all of them, that at the root, God is all there is. There truly is not an interest separating them, although there may appear to be. They are cut of the same cloth. They are one. They are one with us. They are one with each other. So we call forth love, harmony, wisdom, peace, and alternative solutions into the minds and hearts, knowing that the infinite presence knows what these are, even though we don't. And that presence of love and influence is available, active, and bringing forward into our awareness and our embodiment greater peace. Every time we think of Ukraine or Russia, greater peace, sending out love, sending out light, empowering those on both sides of the border to see the truth more clearly and act upon it. We're grateful for the knowing, the remembering of this. We send this prayer out in its wholeness and power into the creative law now, to do this work in every mind and heart, to neutralize everything unlike it, and to bring forward a peaceful conclusion. We are grateful for the law and for the opportunity to claim this truth, and we let it go in love, and let it be. And so it is. Thank you for that request, Christine. Now, please stand and join us for the benediction and the closing song. Let's say this benediction together. I now walk, so that whoever walks beside me dwells in the presence of God, and whoever places a hand in mine is lifted, and whoever thinks of me is illumined with God consciousness, for Spirit and all people and I are one eternally. And so it is. And now we're going to turn it over to Nathan. He's going to lead us through, and this is a call and response. So whatever he sings, we just sing it back to him. Easy. So it's all going to Nathan right now. Let's give him another hand, by the way. Oh. Thank you, Nathan.
My great pleasure. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here this morning. Just want to take 5 seconds and say what I would most love to offer all of you is something that I do every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, which I call Morning Musings. You can find it on Facebook. Just look for me and spell my first name with an E, Nathenaswell. Morning Musings every Wednesday at 9 a.m. It's about 15 minutes long, nice little piece of music and some shared silence. Now, as Mary was saying, this is a call and response song. It's by my good friend Robert Anderson. It's called I Am a Light. So it sounds a little bit like this. I am a light. I am a light. So in between. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light. I am a light in this world. In this world. So there's time in between every one of the lines that I sang for you to sing exactly the same thing back to me. Okay?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a go. But before we do that, I'm gonna do a verse by myself and just gonna do some stuff. Here we go. I am a light, I am a light
in this world, in this world. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Here we go.
I see the joy, I see the joy in this world,
In this world.
in this world. I see the joy, I see the joy in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. I'm living love every day. I'm spreading peace along the way. A right time, right place. I'm living love every day. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. A right time, a right place. I'm living love every day. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. I am a light, I am a light in this world, in this world. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This is the place, this is the time. Let it shine, let it shine.